wait a second, we lost the plot here. We're on this beautiful planet together where it's literally like one human race, even stuff like that. I think really though, what we can all do is just like, I think just exposure. I think unfortunately a lot of people require exposure to walks of life different than their own to be able to understand something.
Every trail has a story, and when LGBTQ plus people gather in the outdoors, those stories become community, adventure, and belonging. I'm Justin Yoder, and this is the LGBTQ Outdoors Podcast. Hey everyone, and happy Pride as we're continuing to celebrate Pride Month. Things are busy and amazing, but we are glad that you're taking time to tune into another episode of the LGBTQ Outdoors Podcast. I'm Justin Yoder.
And I'm Patrick Thompson.
And I'm always excited about our guest, but this one is very different than what we've had before on today's episode.
It is. A little bit of a departure from the norm, but I think y'all are going to like it. Just stick around. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Cool things that we got to mention. One, we have a partnership renewal that we want to talk about. Last year, we partnered with Brew Dr. Kombucha for Pride Month, and they did this amazing bottle, put our logo on it. It went out to something like 500,000 people that picked it up in all 50 states, and our partnership was renewed. They liked us that much. They wanted to keep us around.
Thanks, Brew Doctor.
Thanks, Brew Doctor. And they are such great people. So you can find Brew Doctor in a lot of grocery stores. If you aren't sure where to find it, go to their website, Brew Dr. Kombucha, and you can find out where to pick it up in your area. But go out, buy a Love Wins bottle, tag us in social media on it, LGBTQ Outdoors, and tag Brew Doctor in it, and we will try to repost all of your posts, and we would like to see it represented in the outdoors. So feel free to tag us. We would love that.
And
what else?
It's super cool. It's labeled that they do for Pride Month only. So it's got their love flavor, but they call it Love Wins during Pride Month. It's exceptional. It's really, really good. I'm not just saying that. I'm making no money.
Me neither.
But as soon as we're done recording this, I'm going to go grab one out of the fridge.
Yeah. No, a lot of people think of kombucha as being very vinegary and a drink that's not all that great. But they do it right. They got this formula down, and it's so good. So, pick some up, try it. We got a lot going on. I'm trying to think of everything that we need to cover, but really, we just want people to be having a great Pride Month, that they are being authentic and true to themselves, and that's really what today's guest is really about. So I think that we should jump in with our guest. Chris Housman is a country singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and proud advocate for the LGBTQ plus visibility in country music. Raised on a farm outside of a small town of Hanston, Kansas, Chris grew up immersed in rural life, family values, and country music traditions. His critically acclaimed debut album, Blue Neck, earned national attention for its honest storytelling and unapologetic celebration of queer identity in country culture. The title track debuted at number 1 on the iTunes country charts, reached number 4 across all genres on iTunes, and helped the album surpass 7 million streams. Praised by Billboard for giving the voice to outcast in the genre, recognized by Rolling Stone for its authentic storytelling, and dubbed a game changer for country music by USA Today, Chris has helped create more inclusive future for the genre. Through his music and the message that y'all means all, he continues to build community, inspire authenticity, and proves that country music and country life belongs to everyone. Welcome to the podcast, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Absolutely. I know we've been chatting for quite a while about doing this, and I'm glad the stars finally aligned and we're able to have this conversation.
Right, we're making it happen. We did it.
We did. I mean, what better time though, really, too? Pride Month. So that's great. And we just missed each other in Dallas too, which I was really bummed about. But excited that Pride Month is here and we get to share kind of your story with our listeners and connect with you because Patrick and I have been a fan for a while, and loved your music. And so when you reached out when we were looking for podcast guests, I was like, hell yes, we want Chris.
Yeah, I know. I think I even saw that and was just like, I'll do it if I was like, I don't know if I'm like an expert enough or anything, but I'll happily do it. I love the outdoors, and I love what y'all do. So I'm excited. Yeah, the stars did not align for Dallas this time, but they will next. So
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Look,
that'd be great.
We have that recorded, so
yeah, perfect. Hold me to it. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I know as somebody that grew up country like you, and actually next door neighbors, you grew up in Kansas, I grew up in Missouri. Country boys, born and raised, basically. So I think that we have kind of a lot in common. And I know a little bit about your story, but I think for a lot of our listeners, there are a lot that listen from rural places all across the country. And actually, I think that's one of the reasons why I hang on to our podcast so tightly, because yes, it's a great educational resource for a lot of our community as far as encourage them to get outdoors and how to on certain topics and stuff like that. But we get a lot of emails from people who are just like, hey, I live in a rural area. I'm not out. I don't think I can ever come out, but I'm living vicariously through your podcast. And that impacts me a lot because I could have very easily seen me staying in the closet my whole life. And I think a lot of people could have that experience and do have that experience, even though we're in 2026. Really hope that people can find the freedom and to be able to accept themselves and be able to step out and fully who they are. But when I started hearing your story, I was like, man, Chris just launched himself out there.
Yeah, sure did.
So, you grew up in a tiny town. People think I grew up in a tiny town of less than 1,500. You were less than, what, 300?
Yeah, about
Oh,
200. Yeah, if you count the cats and dogs. But yeah, in Southwest Kansas, I mean, about as rural as it gets, and country and all the things, Christian, white, all just very, very country. And then I was on a farm 5 miles south of that town. So, very small.
Yeah, I was about 3 miles outside of the closest town of 1,500, which now seems like a metroplex compared to where you grew up. But
Right. Yeah.
but I would love to lay kind of the foundation for our listeners of kind of your upbringing, what that was like, your coming out, and then we'll roll into kind of the music too, and how that became a big passion for yours, because it's such a cool story how you kind of paved the way for your family.
Yeah. I mean, it really, like I said, very rural, very country. Um, I was born and raised there, really born in Dodge City, Kansas, which was about 30 minutes away. That was the nearest Walmart, I say, as nearest kind of point of civilization. But even that is, 30,000 some people. But that's also, they deem themselves the cowboy capital of the world, ironically, doing country music now. But yeah, so born and raised on that farm outside the town, Hanston, Kansas. Just a bunch of small towns out there, and just a bunch of farming. Everybody's either farmers or teachers for the schools. I mean, my town, we didn't have a stoplight. We didn't have a gas station. We had one bar and grill, and the co-op and a bank and a school that got shut down after my sophomore year because we were too small. So really just kind of laying that foundation of there, like, needless to say, when I came out when I was 18, I was the first openly gay or queer person I had ever even met. um, I don't even know, you know, where that strength came from now. I kind of shocked at that. But at the same time, I knew, I remember knowing or having the first thoughts that I was different in some way when I was like 6 years old. So I think fortunately, I'm a millennial and kind of in the middle or upper of the millennials. So I was in that generation where we knew life before the internet, but also had a little bit of internet. And I mean, as weird as it may sound, but just having like a little bit of access to really, really slow internet and like, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, um, that and like a little bit of TV, seeing stuff like The Real World or, uh, like if I was feeling really risky and would watch like Will and Grace at midnight or something, just those little bits of exposure just kind of like validated me in some way. But I mean, otherwise it was just kind of, you had to find it in yourself. And I slowly just started coming out to a couple friends that I knew I could trust. And I remember my, let's see, freshman year in high school that Brokeback Mountain came out. It had already come out, but when it came out on DVD, I was actually on a school trip and we stopped at like a entertainment store on the way back, and I sneakily bought the DVD for Brokeback Mountain, but I'd sent it home with a friend of mine, this like girlfriend of mine, and then like a week later I went over to her house so I could watch it with her and her parents. I'm like
Wow.
about to tear up even just talking about that, but because I knew I couldn't bring that movie home, but that like friend and her parents were super cool, and they had moved from Colorado, so they're kind of transplants and a little more open-minded and stuff. So yeah, I watched it at a friend's house I don't know, that was just a really significant moment for me. But sorry, I kind of got off there, but yeah, very small town, very first person in my town to like, come out, or I think my county really. But yeah, it's kind of wouldn't change a thing. It was a great place to grow up. I never felt unsafe or unloved. Granted, I also came out, I guess, to dive in that a little bit more. I had graduated high school. I mean, I was the homecoming king. I was a really good player on the football team, captain of the football team, played all the sports. And which was another good thing I loved about growing up in such a small town, is that you could kind of do everything. You could be the football player, but also the choir
Right.
choir boy or whatever. Everybody had to do all the things. So,
Everybody had to step up and play their part.
Exactly. Yeah. Or you don't have a football team, or you don't have a choir. And yeah. So, but then, I graduated high school, got an academic scholarship to Belmont here in Nashville. And I, was kind of like, oh, I did it. I like graduated. Only the people I came out to know, like my cover wasn't totally blown. And I'm about to like pack up and leave. And then like kind of got outed from an email that one family sold their family computer to another family in my town. And they somehow there was an email saved on a desktop. It's crazy. And then it starts spreading like wildfire the summer between high school and college. So I basically came out to my parents June 20th, 2008. And because I wanted them to hear it from me, not from a rumor. And yeah, so that was my real like coming out. But happy Pride.
You're right.
What's interesting is that the origin story for my coming out is centered around an email that was found on a computer as well.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
So having flashbacks right now. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. Was yours also a Hotmail account, or?
It was Juno, actually.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Before the days of Hotmail.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That ages me now.
What a thing to have in common. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Email trauma.
Yeah.
Right. You guys got to learn how to cover your checks better.
I know, right? Yeah.
Oh, so how old were you when you came out? And you mentioned that you had not even met another openly gay person before coming out. So, one, like, how old were you? And two, I know that you mentioned like that you wanted to be sure that your parents heard it from you first, but where do you think you got the strength to do that? Because that is not an easy thing to do, especially growing up in a small rural town in West Texas or West
Kansas,
Kansas.
yeah. So I was 18 when I did that, and I think honestly, even it helped a lot that I had kind of come to terms with it for really when I was like, I think I told a friend for the first time that I thought I might be bi or gay when I was 12. But then I came out to one of my sisters when I was 15, who she is just, and she, I would say, is the main reason that I was able to find the strength to do that, because she's always been my rock. She was excited when I came out to her, but she's also like 10 years older than me. Her and I were always kind of the black sheep in our, so there were 5 of us kids, so family of 7. I was the youngest. But her and I were always kind of like the different ones. And um, yeah, so I just knew that she would be cool with it. And she was, and she helped me kind of come up with a game plan. She gave me a deadline, or, when she's had to do hard stuff like that, has set herself a deadline. And then, of course, I waited until the very last second.
Of course.
And then another hour. But, and she even kind of helped me. I kind of had a whole script that I remember so well. I just, my parents happened to be sitting down, just like smoking cigarettes. And I was like, just chatting with them. And then I was like, hey, mom and dad, I actually want to talk to you about something. And I reminded them, I was like, you know how you've said like you love me no matter what, right? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. I just want to remind you that as I tell you this, and just want you to hear from me that I'm gay. And they literally didn't believe me. Or my mom was like, oh, she kind of like chuckled, and she was like, no, boys go through this phase. You're just going through it a little later than usual. And I was like, if it's a phase, it's been going on for a long time. But yeah, I mean, so really, for that, for me, it was like my sister that was the like rock that I was leaning on, and a couple really good friends. But that's the thing. I mean, even just one person that can be your rock is like life changing. And just finding those people to support you like that.
It's very, very true. Like one person can make such a massive difference. I was reading it today, actually, that having a supportive person in your life as a young queer person can help reduce the attempts at suicide or self-harm by 50%.
Yeah.
50%.
God.
By one person.
Just one. Man. I believe it.
Yeah. Jumping back to your growing up on the farm, totally different culture. What were some of the things that you really enjoyed about the country life? And were there any like outdoor activities that you liked? That I feel kind of like all of us that grew up in the country like the outdoors to some degree, some level.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about what that looked like for you as a kid growing up, and any passions that you had that involved the outdoors specifically.
Totally. I mean, we lived outside. I have a twin brother as well, who's not gay, but we just like lived outside. We also lived in like a shelter belt, so kind of had like a wooded area behind and in front of our house and our farm. And I mean, I remember making like a map. We had made a map of all the like trees that we had climbed, and would like rate each one on a scale of like of like
Nice.
1 to 5 like trees stars on like how climbable and like how fun they were to climb. Was it like dangerous? Would you recommend climbing it again?
I feel like this could be a whole app, like the new all trails or something.
All
Here's a map
trails,
of trees that you can
all
try.
trees,
All trees.
all trees. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, that'd be awesome, right? Yeah. I mean, I would probably look into it. I would download that app, but that was a big, yeah, just, I mean, and out there, as I'm sure you experienced too, like you just can be outside and use your imagination and just find, make up things like that to do. and then you've got a several month activity. I mean, I remember making like hammocks out of like baling twine a lot. I got really into that. And then, I mean, I had no idea what I was doing, but then I was kind of getting better at making like, ooh, this one's actually kind of more comfortable. And then my mom would kind of, I don't know, she's like, oh, if you would like braid these, it would make it even more comfortable and stuff like that, or even just jumping on the trampoline. Of course, back then, we hated doing like farm chores because those were chores. So admittedly, I was not much into the farm aspect as a kid because that was like, oh man, like I want,
That was work.
yeah, exactly, that's work. And now in my 30s, I'm like trying to get back out in the middle of nowhere and have a farm, but uh, but I, deep down there was some part of that I loved too. I mean, we also had cattle and a few horses, goats, a lot of dogs and cats. Actually had a pet cow that I raised from a bottle pet, she was one of the herd, but she just died of old age. Actually, I know people listening won't be able to see this, but I've got a tattoo of her on my chest.
Oh.
She was, her name was Diamond. She was so tame. I could just sit on her back and she just would chill and stand there. And yeah, even as like, in my 20s, I could just like sit on her back and she loved being pet. And yeah, Diamond was like my first favorite, maybe still my favorite pet. Just don't tell my dog Frank that now.
Hopefully he's not listening close by.
No, he's inside.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, and then between that stuff and like, sports, and there really wasn't. Well, it's funny because I also remember loving fishing when I was really little, up until I was like probably 6 or 7. Then, I remember asking my parents like, oh, why can't we go fishing? And like, oh, it's really dry this year. Like all the creeks are dried up. And then, oh, it's a really dry year again. It's really dry. And it was just dry every year after that. And there were never any fish. And, but meanwhile, my parents are like, don't believe in global warming and stuff. but that's
Funny
all right.
how that works, right?
Yeah. So there was no more fishing after like 6 years old, but I loved it up until then.
All right. Yeah. I loved fishing too. Like that was probably my favorite thing growing up on the farm. But we had like ponds so we weren't relying just on creeks. But
Yeah.
it was a good time.
Yeah.
So super small town. And I'm comparing that just because I've been to Justin's small town, where he grew up. I'm imagining that it gets more reserved and more pious and proper the smaller we get. As you were coming out and still living there, how do you sort of manage was there a clash of cultures? Or at least internally. Generally, on the surface, these things don't go well together, right? If we're laying into stereotypes. So how did you kind of approach that dissonance?
Yeah, it did feel like a clash, but I just didn't even really know in what ways. Because I hadn't experienced anything else, but I just knew that I was different. Even in elementary school, like first grade, I remember having a crush on a boy. So I think I just really spent the next, 12-ish years kind of busting my butt because I knew there was more out there. And I wanted to set myself up in a way to see what else was out there. Both, because of my sexuality and because of like pursuing music and just pursuing life. But I had just seen so many people before me, and this is no shade whatsoever, but, especially farming families, you go to the community college an hour away, you get your degree in PE or teaching, and you move back and help on the farm, and you or a teacher or, whatever, construction job or job at the feed yard or something like that. And I just knew that was not for me. And so that was a lot of the, I guess, clashing kind of was just feeling like, okay, this is not for me. I love it for now. I have no idea what else is out there, but I can't wait to find out, I guess. So it didn't feel I never really felt like it was like personal, like that personally clashed with me. I, fit in really well and loved everybody. But yeah, I definitely was pumped to get out too. So
Nice. And Justin will talk about the his gratitude that he has that he was able to quote unquote get out of the small town. But I like the way that you phrase that because I feel like it's really honest. Like you don't know what's out there. You didn't say I want to go live out there. You said I want to go and see what is out there.
yeah,
I just want to peek over the fence, see what's outside of my little comfort zone. And is that something that's for me out there?
yeah. Because I
It's really cool.
totally get like my older brother. He has no desire, and I love it. I almost envy it in a way. He, a lot of that stuff that I was saying, like, kind of has done that, and he's the football coach now, and has the family, and they're and raising his family there now. And I love and almost envy, like, he does not desire, he hasn't to him, he hasn't made there and is living the dream. So why shake that up or change that? And that's awesome. That was just not my experience at all. Just because when you're when you feel like nobody wants to feel like you're the only, alone, or different. And yeah, and that's really kind of all it comes down to. And
Yeah.
some people, that is their life, and that's amazing. But I just have always wanted to like experience all the things as much as I can. So
Yeah. I can relate to that a lot. Like being in a small community like that and being the only one, which I know there was a couple others around my community, but we didn't really talk or were friends or anything like that. And just always feeling like you're going to be in a place where you're judged and people are whispering, and you know how the gossip is in the small town and the small churches and all of that kind of thing. Like
yeah,
me, I needed to get out of there and be in a
yeah,
community. Like I do miss the country life, a lot of it, but I also love the community that we have built here in Dallas and being around.
totally.
So yeah, I get
Yeah,
that.
and it can feel. I mean, especially, when you find your like tribe of people, feel like especially in queer spaces, it can feel like a small town. I know it definitely feels that way in Nashville. Like if I go to one of the 4 or 5, maybe gay bars here, there's no way I'm not going to run into somebody I know. Um, but at the same time, like it's nice to, be able to walk down the street without it, somebody talking about what you were wearing that day or whatever. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. When you were young, also you started to get involved in music. Uh, did you ever dream that you were going to end up where you are today, and share a little bit where
Yeah,
your passion for the music came from?
totally. So, gosh, it's crazy because right around the same time that I was kind of having these first realizations that I might be gay is also right around the same time that I realized I wanted to do music. I was 7 years old at a jam session with my parents in Dodge City. So basically, on Friday nights that weren't during football season, they would go hang out at a friend's house, and my dad and some other these kind of like older folks would like play music and like just gossip and smoke cigarettes while like me and my twin brother and a couple other kids would like play outside or whatever. And and but yeah, I would just kind of sit in there sometimes, and I was really fascinated with this older man named Tom that played the fiddle really well, and he was just such a cool guy. And I decided that I wanted to play fiddle like Tom, and so told my parents that. They were like, nah, you'll pick it up once and never touch it again. So I was like, cool, I'll just wait for like Christmas and Santa will come through. And he did.
Yeah, Santa.
Yeah, shout out to Santa. Um, and then on it, yeah, I just kind of picked it up and ran with it. And it came really naturally. My parents both have a little bit of music backgrounds, and both were naturally just kind of good singers. And so next thing we knew, we had like a family band. My mom played banjo, my dad played bass, my twin brother played guitar, and I played fiddle, and we all sang and started doing these
That
like,
sounds like a country song if I ever heard one.
oh, right? Yeah. Yeah, it really does. Yeah, you can say, even talking about it now, it sounds almost like a country movie or something. Um, but yeah, so we would do these play at senior homes, VFWs, little events, and then these Wild West shows in Dodge City all the time. And yeah, I mean, I did my first show and I was 8 and then till 18. And, but yeah, but then really like, as far as like what I think where I'm at now, that's a great question, because then when I knew I was coming to Nashville, that felt like a place I could pursue music, but also get a bachelor's degree. But I had also just come out. So I was like, well, I can't do country music anymore. But maybe so I tried dabbling in like pop music a little bit, but then I really decided I was going to just work in the music industry and not really pursue it. Cause I was like, I had no reason to believe that I could be openly gay and do country music at the time. Yeah. I had, no representation to tell me that that would be the case. So I was like, okay, I can just be behind the scenes and do music that way. Yeah. And that just took a lot of years and things changing a little bit. I've always, got more progress, more ways to go, but and they're just kind of getting older and caring a little less about what people think and stuff, to start just pursuing country music as my authentic self. So it's crazy that
What a ride.
we're here. Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
When did you start realizing, what year was it that you started realizing that you wanted to be authentically yourself and also pursue country music and trying to make space in that genre?
Well, I moved to Nashville in 2008 for college, and I started writing country songs in 2017. And even then, I started writing songs, but I was like, oh, okay. So in Nashville, we do a lot of co-writing, where you have like usually 3 people in a room, which is kind of one of the traditions of country music. And some of the times I would like be out to those people. I was totally out to all my close friends, and I was out all through college. But then some of these rooms you're walking in, you don't know who you're writing with. And I didn't feel like coming out to straight country bros every day, 5 days a week.
Right.
So sometimes it's like, sure, let's write this girl song, or my trick kind of was just like, I would tell people like, oh, I like keeping things universal and just using like you instead of like girl or whatever pronouns. And so that was kind of my way for a while, really until 2020. That I think 2020, is as hard as it was, it also provided a massive opportunity to kind of zoom out and look at the world through a little different lens. I know I definitely learned a lot about what matters and what doesn't, and really started changing the way I approach songwriting. And that's really when I started writing like my truth and my story in my songs. And then that immediately, like, no coincidence, completely had my trajectory of my career change and take off for the first time. So, yeah.
Was that with the song, was that Blue Neck, or was there another song that
Yeah.
came before that?
Yeah, Blue Neck was the first. So Blue Neck was the third song I put out, and the first one that actually did anything. Yeah, yeah. I put my first song out at the end of 2019. I put one out in 2020, and then Blue Neck out in 2021. So
What was that like as you started to realize that song was
yeah,
catching ground, catching fire?
yeah, it was terrifying at first, honestly, because I was kind of like, "Oh boy, there's no going back from this." Uh, but at the same time, so TikTok, I was kind of newer to TikTok, and I think everybody kind of was in 2020, or this. I guess this was the beginning of 2021, but I'd already written. I'd had the idea, um, and we wrote just the chorus that day. I had like 72 followers on TikTok. So it felt like very little pressure to like throw that chorus up on TikTok. And that went viral pretty much immediately. And then the more I posted about it, the more traction it got. And I released it less than a month later. It was number 1 on iTunes country and like number 4 all genre on iTunes. So I mean, had like 6 million views or something already. So having that, I mean, I can't express how much having that validity of seeing it resonate with so many people, and even just those numbers to, you know, yeah, validate that no, this is a story that needs to be heard. This is country music. There are a lot of people, I mean, similar, Justin, to what you were saying about people in rural areas reaching out. I get those same comments all the time on stuff for the last several years. But really starting with that song, that like people saying they live, in the middle of nowhere, don't know if they'll ever be able to come out. But that they wish they heard this song when they were a kid. And that's kind of my whole thing. That's the reason really why I'm doing it, is because I'm like, I can't imagine how much when I was watching CMT as a kid, if I would have seen someone like me on the TV, even just once, like, um, but so that's, I mean, the fuel to my fire and stuff. So.
And it's such a cool song. Like it showed up on my Spotify one day. And like I was just driving, not really paying attention, but I remember the chorus, and I was like, "Whoa, hold up!" And I rewound it and listened from the beginning. And I was like, "He's poking the bear,
Yeah.
appropriately, and there's unmistakably drawing a line in the sand." With your beliefs, your convictions, especially in the Nashville crowd. Well, like that's something that you're unable to walk back. So went from small town into Music City, Nashville, major culture shock, and still have the guts to speak up like this. Can you give us a sort of 10,000-foot view of like what the song is sort of about, Blue Neck?
Yeah, totally. So I used to say like Blue Neck is kind of just like me in a nutshell. Just my beliefs, and yeah, it's funny because like it's kind of a polarizing song. I mean, the hook of the song is, yeah, I guess I'm a red state blue neck. Basically, I had the idea originally, like I wrote down in a notebook, a song about being a liberal redneck, and then I circled that and drew an arrow, and I wrote blue neck question mark and circled that a bunch, and that's where it came from. But really just like, polarizing in some ways, but really not just saying things like y'all means all, and just saying that like I think if you work a job you ought to make a living, and uh things that seem pretty fundamental human rights to me, but in the country space are definitely like considered taboo and all that. So but at the same time, it's kind of like, if it's also been great to find my people and find my audience, and, and I really think it's kind of got like a really passionate, listening like audience more so than like, oh, cool. I love the way this song sounds. And then that's cool too. And I've got songs like that too that, not everything is like Blue Neck, but really like taking a stance like that, I think has been such a great thing for my career.
Well, it's sort of the field of dreams, so to speak. Like if you build it, they will come. Like if you create it, your audience is going to show up, and they have. And I'm glad that it's been so well received. Some of your other stuff that I was stalking around. I love your work with Calgaze.
Yes, yeah, that's fun.
I absolutely love it. It's so playful, but like musically, the harmonies are like so tight and freaking sick. I love it.
Yeah.
And then Kids Like Us. Oh, that one's good.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's been fun. That's pretty much brand new. Like we've been doing. Yeah, it's a project between myself and two of my best friends who are also openly gay country artists called the Calgaze, and we've been out for 3 months now, 3.5 months. So, and we have a lot of really cool stuff happening already. It's fun. There's definitely power in numbers, and I love harmony. That's where like going back to that family band stuff, I'm like, yes, I love this, and I missed it. Yeah.
And it's just a blast. I'm also a fan of Brooke Eden. I do a lot of line dancing. I just started teaching on occasion for an organization called Dallas Does Dance at the Roundup.
Oh my gosh. I just met some of those people. Why can't I remember? Sweet. They were in our music video with some. Yeah, there were the two Chris's. There's two other Chris's, and why can't I remember? There was somebody we were calling Gay Tucker Wetmore. I can't remember his name now.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Anyway,
probably Andrew. You probably met. It wouldn't surprise me if you met Vinny too. Andrew would be. I could see you calling him the gay.
Andrew is right.
That's funny.
But I did teach Brooke's song, Show You How to Giddy Up, a few weeks ago. That's a blast. And I think y'all have a video of that.
We just did Brooke and I did the Giddy Up line dance at the Roundup when we were there a couple weeks ago. Because we went in the first night.
You danced when you were there and performed while you were there? I didn't even realize that.
We didn't perform, but we just popped in because none of us had ever been, popped in. And then people
recognize you.
Yeah. And so they played Giddy Up. They played one of my songs, Hiding Something. And then we actually shot part of a music video that is, I can't wait to tell y'all more about someday eventually, but long way out. But Calgaze music video that we shot part of it at the Roundup with Dallas Does Dance, like dancing behind us. Yeah.
Well, was that planned out?
Well, we went in on Saturday and loved it so much. And Brooke talked to, I think Andrew and the Chris's, and we just had the idea of like, hey, we're shooting this music video on Monday. Could we do y'all want to be in it? And could we come back here? And they were like, sure. So
sweet.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Back to that small town, gay world, small town, something like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh man, I wish I was in town. I was enjoying the Grand Teton and Yellowstone national parks at the time with the team out there, but
that's awesome.
When I saw you post assigned to Roundup, I was like, I had to message you and was like, are you a Roundup right now?
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm missing you.
We were having such a good time. We kept saying it was like Disney World for us. Just, we don't have anything like that here in Nashville, which sucks, but.
Hey, come anytime. We'll have a good time for sure.
Absolutely.
It's where if we're going out, that's where we're going is to Roundup. Even though
great.
The great thing about Dallas, if you do like going out and that's your thing, is all the gay bars are just right there on the strip together. So it's really nice to be able to just walk wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
But Roundup's kind of our home and we love it there. There's good people there.
Understand why. Yeah.
Yeah. We were jumping back a little bit, we were talking about wanting country music to be for everyone. What do you think the future of country music looks like? And I even know that there's a big struggle even with, and I think that female artists are becoming a lot more popular and given a lot more stage time than what they've used to. But even people of color, it just seems like country culture and music has a long ways to go. But what does the future look like in the country industry to you?
Yeah, I fully think it looks gayer, it looks more
Yeah.
female, and it looks more colorful. I think the like kind of Nashville system is working hard to keep doing the same thing it's been doing for the last about century, but I think there's so much weight that eventually that's gonna like break through the ceiling, and there's just kind of, I mean, there's so much talent and just long overdue recognition from different walks of life. And country music talks all the time about being, three chords and the truth, and about how it's so good about storytelling. And it is. And that's like one of my favorite parts about country music. But okay, if we're telling three chords and the truth, but then the same songs are just, beer, fish hunt, drink, or whatever, like, which is, which are all great things. That's fine. But, then that's not, I don't know. There's just so many more truths to be told. There's so many more stories to be told. And I wish Nashville and like the country music industry saw the opportunities that I see. I mean, I don't know how they don't see dollar signs in their eyes, like the cartoons. Because I mean, really, think about. I mean, I see the comments all the time of like, probably my number one comment is people that say they grew up on country, but they gravitated away from it because they felt unwelcome by it. Totally understandable. Even if they're like straight and they just, thought, oh, country's like, and they moved to a city, but they're from Illinois originally. And how the industry doesn't see this massive untapped market of about half the country, I don't like, blows my mind. And especially when you just start letting people know that it's it can be a genre for everybody. Just the idea of a genre of music excluding people is so sad to me. Like,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, of course, there's like the country lifestyle, and it's going to appeal, or traditionally has appealed more to people who grew up in the country, but there's by no means, like, why limit your audience to just that? I don't care if you were born and raised in New York. I hope you can listen to my country ass song and sorry, and
Good.
and find it, and find something good in that.
Absolutely. I don't remember what year it was that it came out, but I remember when Steve Grand released All American Boy, and I was like just blown away because it was the first time that I felt like, and I don't know that he specifically would call that song country because that was brought up and he wanted to be I don't think locked down to one genre, but for me, I think it was the first time that I had heard a song from a gay artist that I felt was country. And, as I have, I was born and raised country. I am probably going to die a country boy. Like I love the country. And there's also a lot of misconceptions about people who are country because they think, oh, if you are country, you are this. And they put you in a box. And so many times I'm put in a box just because of like the way that I dress or whatever it might be, or I'm wearing a cowboy hat or whatever. And I'm like, look, just because you think you know what country is, that doesn't mean that we're all in the same box together. And I love that you are bringing this diversity and trying to break out of this box and bringing, a lot of queerness and gayness to the country industry. And I hope that that continues to um, encourage others because representation is huge. Like that's one of the big things with LGBTQ outdoors. We want to show representation of people, our community, in the outdoors to help encourage more people to get out there. And I'm hoping that the same thing happens with you, that that people might think I can never be a country music artist because I'm queer. Well, look at you. You're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. It really is so similar, and that's one of the things many things that I love about what y'all are doing is, and similarly, like when I first stumbled upon, y'all's Instagram page, I was just so pumped. Like, yes, I love that this exists, and I think, yeah, people have a similar feeling, when they discover a queer country artist, like, love that this exists and this is a thing and can be a thing, and because yeah, like. I mean, there's so many stereotypes um, and yeah, just like, yeah, that, you can't be gay or queer and do this or be that. And we just, yeah, it takes just exposure and representation to, make those disappear. So,
Yeah, totally. When it comes to a lot of our divisions, what do you think we could do in maybe for marginalized communities, whether that's the queer community or people of color? But what do you think we could do to create more welcoming communities where a lot of times, going country, you feel like there's walls that are dividing? Like, what do you believe could help bring down walls and bring more unity? Because a lot of times we aren't all that different, and a lot of times people have those misconceptions about who we are.
yeah, that's like the thing that I go to bed thinking about pretty much every night is like, I'm constantly trying to think of a way to, via country song, like break things down in a way that even like the people in my hometown that never, that are born and raised there and stayed there, um, could understand, to make people like remember that we're all just humans. And like, I don't know how we got so lost in that, like, of the dividing and separating, and um and like, wait a second, we lost the plot here. We're on this
Mm.
beautiful planet together where it's literally like, one human race. Even stuff like that, I think just, um like, of course, like, there's like ethnicity and race, and I'm no expert or like anthropologist or anything, but even that, around that word, like, race, it's a human race, and then of course there's like ethnicities, but even skin color and stuff only has to do with like your generations and generations and generations before you, how close they were to the equator. And like that, it's stuff like that I think. And then it's, you break that down even more into like sexuality, or gender, and I'm constantly trying to think of like ways, because like country music is also like really simple, and um I'm trying to think of ways, like I've got this song Up and Down that's on this, album
I
I'm
was
putting
going to
out.
mention. I was going to
Yeah,
mention that. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a
the
great
and that
song.
one's, thank you, and that one's like, I'm kind of, it's about like class consciousness and stuff, but I'm like, come on, people, it's like 99% of us have more in common than 1% of us. And why are we doing, and really the, hook thing there is, the real divide ain't left and right, it's up and down. That type of, that one I was like, okay, that's an, example of when I feel really good about writing a song. um, if I could just write 100 more of those, that'd be great. Uh, but yeah, that's what I mean. And I think really though, what we can all do is just like, I think just exposure. I think unfortunately a lot of people require exposure to walks of life different than their own to be able to understand something. Unfortunately, you'd hope that we could just have the empathy to think about that and do that. But I think, and that's, I think too, a lot of, you know, granted, of course, seems like we're taking a dip. I've seen some statistics about, but like everybody, has maybe a gay cousin or gay uncle, brother, sister, even dad, mom, whatever. Um, but not every white person has a black cousin, sibling, mom, dad, son, etc. And so I think that's one of the things that I've kind of come to my own conclusion on, is that like even exposure to different walks like that and stuff, that like creating those opportunities to be exposed to different walks of life. So I don't know, I have the whole little theory there.
No, and I would absolutely subscribe to that. Many, many years ago, I went and did an internship, a college internship in Florida, and one of my roommates was from Georgia. And we were just walking around the lake one night, and I came out to him, and he was like, "Huh, we don't have gay folks in Georgia." And I was like, "Oh, but you do." It's
Yeah.
just consider that the environment makes him feel uncomfortable to not be, or uncomfortable enough to not be visible. And he was like, that stopped him in his tracks.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't trying to like make a point or, convince him of anything. Of just saying what I understand. And I think that sort of reframed how he looks at queer people or even others in any capacity.
I can't imagine how many people, like, in my hometown county area, that just like, didn't come out and won't. Because I could totally understand why people would do that and not feel comfortable doing that, for sure. So
absolutely, and especially in the middle of Pride Month, folks in that situation, like it breaks my heart that you're in a situation where you just can't. I hope that maybe one day you can, but until then, know that like we're here, we see you, we are absolutely rooting for you, and stick around.
yeah,
definitely. Kind of on that, with talking a little bit about mental health, I'm sure that music, even though I'm not musicianally gifted, I do love music, but I know music and nature can both be very healing. For you, have they helped navigate difficult moments for you? And what does that look like for you as a queer adult can be a very challenging time?
yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, those nature and music have truly been the two most healing things for me. Sometimes hand in hand, simultaneously, even. But yeah. I mean, for me, really, like music, even as a kid, was kind of the thing that like pushed me to was my reason to work so hard and set myself up in a way that I could like experience more of life. And then like now, I mean, lately, especially in the last like decade, and really since 2020 for me, um that I rekindled my relationship with nature. I've always have loved it and stuff, but I've been a better partner in my relationship with nature since 2020, and a better practicing nature lover. And I mean, I like actually, it's funny. Saw that there's an app called Touch Grass. I pretty much tried to do this on my own, but I saw that there's an app the other day called like Touch Grass or something, where you have to go outside and take a picture of yourself in grass before you can like open up Instagram or whatever on your phone. And I thought that was pretty,
Cool.
I thought that was pretty genius. I
That's
pretty
cool.
much tried to do that already, but like I mean, for me, it's like if I at least go on a walk outside, or at the very least do that, then like my mental health and everything is going to go up. And if my mental health is up because I went on that walk, then I'm probably going to write a better song that day, or I'm going to just feel better and be better to people, and just be, energy levels be better. And my, like, I mean, even for me, like a lot of music for me started with like church stuff and gospel stuff. And, then as a person who then experienced like a lot of religious trauma, but then has since developed a I feel like it sounds kind of cliche, but very spiritual person now. That feels like a kind of full circle thing too. That nature is is my church now, is the place that I feel most with God, source, universe. And I mean, and even just being in nature, you hear so much music,
Mhm.
just with the animals and the wildlife, birds. There's just so much music. I have a goal someday of I want to do like a live album thing in nature and call it like public or yeah, public. I don't know. I have
Dude,
Sounds
yes.
so
yeah,
good.
like where every song, even if it's just like I want to hear all the like critters and stuff all throughout, and yeah, that's a major goal someday. But sorry, I don't even know if I answered your question, but
You
we got
did.
somewhere.
No.
Yeah.
Great, great, yeah,
It's so good. And I like, cuz we've all heard the term touch grass, but I like how simple it is for you because I think a lot of people when they think about what we do specifically, they're thinking, "Oh, you're going to go climb a 14,000-foot mountain or you're going to do this through hike that's going to take 5 days or all these big things," but that's not what it's about. It's as simple as just getting out there and getting sunshine, listening to the birds, going on a
yeah,
walk, breathing in some fresh air. Because I've said this a lot recently because it's kind of been my little kick that I've been on recently where I don't think that when you hear about a queer person that doesn't like the outdoors, I don't think that they don't like watching a sunrise or they don't like being out among fresh trees and
right,
wildflowers. There's a disconnect there of where it's so much easier to enjoy nature than thinking that it's this big grand thing that you have to go outside and going to have to get all muddy and dirty and sweaty and ate up by bugs and all of this stuff. It
yeah.
it can be so much easier.
So much easier. I mean, I'm on this call right now on my front porch while it's raining and it's gorgeous. And I try to take all my meetings and like calls and stuff on my front porch if I can and watch my garden and make sure squirrels aren't eating anything and that's yeah, even that simple, just right out your front door can even get the job done.
Absolutely. I'm curious, where do you find hope right now?
Ooh, I would say in like community and um both my community and just communities that I see. um I see, yeah, I see hope in that I see hope in like that we're challenging things that aren't okay. um I've attended, a few like No Kings protests and stuff, and I honestly see hope and love seeing
Yeah.
people carrying American flags at those.
Yes.
And that kind of like it feels weird to like I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is like yeah, that's my country too." And like
Yeah.
that hit me way harder than I like thought it would, but it really totally redirected it from something that felt like, okay, like I'm maybe gonna go this way, to like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
we have every right to that just as much as the next person. And so, yeah,
Well, we're in a time where it is so very, very easy to isolate.
yeah,
Like things are intense. I'm going to shrink up into my shell. I'm going to shut the door and cut myself off from the world. That is the easiest. That is the fastest. That is the safest way to protect myself from all the chaos. Um, but I absolutely agree with you that the antidote to that is community.
yeah,
Because just life, regardless of what it is less ugly when there are people around you helping you stand. Like,
totally.
no question.
Yeah. Kind of going back to the thing we are talking about with like just one person,
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be a big community. I mean, I'm pretty introverted. My partner and I are pretty introverted and like, but, uh, but yeah, it doesn't have to be a big one even, but a small community can do wonders for sure. So
Yeah. Definitely agree with that. We would like to do a fun little thing with you and do kind of a little lightning round of questions for you.
Cool. Perfect.
Patrick, you want to start it off?
Sure. Here we go. Sunrise or sunset?
Ooh, sunset. Just because I'm hopefully still sleeping at sunrise.
I feel you. Okay, so this is gonna go
That's fair.
slower than a lightning round normally does. But I feel you so much on that because the trip that we just did was based on wildlife, and so wildlife is more active in the morning and evening. So we were getting up at like 4:20, 4:15, 4:20
Yeah.
in the morning sometimes, and it was just like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But it was worth it.
Right. Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Cowboy boots or hiking boots?
Cowboy boots.
Favorite outdoor destination?
A river. Yeah, kayaking on a river.
Nice. Okay.
Campfire or front porch?
Campfire. Actually,
A favorite country artist?
ooh, I would say Casey Musgraves.
Ooh,
Okay.
so good.
Yeah.
Did you know that
Yes.
she was at Roundup one night too?
No, wait,
Um,
recently?
She
She
karaoke.
Oh
she did,
my gosh.
and she showed up on a Tuesday night, random night, not very many people there. She tried to sing under a different name, and as soon as she started singing, it was like, nope, you
Yeah.
can't,
No, can't.
you can't hide
You
that voice.
didn't. Yeah.
And she was
Oh
just so
man,
down to
that's
earth and
amazing.
so cool. Like,
That's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow,
Um,
Roundup getting all the love in this episode. Yeah.
they are.
As
They
they
are.
deserve. Yeah.
Like, okay, so hang on, like, pause. Sorry. So Roundup, like, it goes back to the community I was talking about and the line dancing. I never would have thought in my life that there would be any such thing as a community around line dancing inside of a country queer bar in Dallas, Texas. Like, none of that lines up, right? But and I don't really know how to fully explain it, but th- that environment and that community has been like become very important. Like not just fun, not just cool, but it's like important to me.
Yeah.
So like that kind of stuff exists um, when
Yeah.
you're least likely looking for it.
100%. I fully get it. I'm jealous. We have a small, sorry, well, a small group here called Lavender Roots that kind of just taken off, but I think without the space. But I'm jealous of the queer line dance community that you have there in Dallas. But yeah,
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Incredible people too.
Now I lost where we were. Favorite song you've written?
ooh, I would say "Dirt on Me," the last single I put out.
All right. What word that describes pride to you?
Love, I would say love. Yeah.
Love it. And I'm going to give you a chance, like, to elaborate even more on the Pride because we are in Pride Month, and so I'd love to hear more from you about what Pride means to you, as a gay country artist.
Cool. Thanks for letting me elaborate too, because I feel like I said love with a question mark. So, uh, love. No, but really, I mean, pride is so important to me because I and so many of us know what it feels like to experience the opposite of pride, the shame, and that other people put on us. So getting rid of anything that other people put on us and experiencing pride for ourselves. Um, you know, at least until hopefully someday there's no reason to. Until then, we absolutely have to keep celebrating pride.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I wish that we didn't have to celebrate it, but I also think that there is we kind of have a duty to keep celebrating it as well for those future
Yeah.
generations and to remind people too, like it's not just an event. It's not just a parade. It was started as a riot. It's a march. It's standing up for who we are, being proud of who we are, authentic as ourselves, and trying to pave a way for future generations to be able to have a better tomorrow than what we might have today.
Yeah, totally. Also, this just popped in my head too. It's probably a terrible way to describe it, but you know how like on your birthday you get a bunch of like texts and calls and emails, messages and stuff from people that you haven't thought about in a long time, and it's like, oh man, like this feels great. This is nice. Pride is great for that too. It's like, oh man, look at this beautiful community. It's
Mm.
being queer is awesome and wouldn't change a thing. It's great for that too. Like a yearly reminder that like see, we're good. We're so much better off being exactly who we are. So
For sure. For sure. And I think you've done a great job at this in the whole episode. But if you were kind of to reflect on things, what message would you like to share with LGBTQ people that are growing up in small towns or rural communities like we did?
yeah, I would definitely say, as someone who was so sure that I was alone and that I was the only person that was going through the things I was going through, and the only person from that small town that was gay. You're never truly alone. Um, find your people, and that it's unfortunate that it's so hard to do, but one of the hardest and most important things you can do in your life is just be 100% yourself. The quicker you can get there, the better. I know I wasted a lot of years of my life not being 100% of myself, even after I came out. Um, and once you've experienced it, there's just no going back.
Uh, I agree with you so much. It's so hard when you're in it and you are facing it. But then when you get through the other side and you realize the joy, the happiness, the peace, just living your authentic self, it's just like, ooh, to be able to rip that Band-Aid off faster.
Yeah,
But again, it's everybody has their own journey and everybody has to fight their
totally,
own battles for sure. But I
totally.
can relate to that. Yeah. Patrick, you have any closing thoughts as we come to the end of this episode?
I don't. Not really. This has been a blast. A fan. I love the wordsmithery that you use for your creations. It's playful at times, but also like
Yeah,
very, very like heartfelt and impassioned. Um, but again, like there's also sort of like this tongue in cheek kind of vibe.
yeah.
It just makes it very, very accessible, and like it's never preachy. Like it's just like you're doing some awesome stuff, and I'm really kind of freaking out that I'm getting to talk with you right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Yeah, the slight humor thing is kind of always my like defense mechanism, I feel like. And
Mhm.
but yeah, I think it unintentionally makes things more approachable. And man, you guys, this has been a blast. I could chat with you guys for couple more hours. This has been
Well,
awesome. And I'm
hopefully this is just the beginning too. I have
absolutely
some ideas that I want to be able to talk to you about and see what we
great.
might be able to do in the future for sure.
Absolutely. Cool.
Um, can you share that with people where people can find out about your upcoming music projects, social media, any new
Yeah,
music coming in, everything like that?
absolutely. Yeah, so timing is perfect. So I'm actually announcing, or by the time you are hearing this, probably will have just been announced, that I've got a new album coming out August 28th, an album called Dodge City, a little nod to where I was
Cool.
born. And then I've got a brand new single called Cowman, because who wants a cowboy when you can have a cowman?
All
Uh,
right.
yeah,
All right.
that might be my new favorite song actually, but very fun song, and I can't believe it hasn't been written before yet. But that one's for the girls and the gays. Um, so yeah, new single Cowman. I've got another song coming, and then my second album at the end of August. So be on the lookout for that. You can find me on all the socials. Chris Housman Music on most of them, especially Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and then also just chrishousman.com. You can find everything there. And Housman is like Houseman with no E, Housman. So, yeah. And that's just
Awesome.
I maybe should have come up with like a clever country artist name. That's just my name. But, whoops, too late now.
It's all about being authentically you, right?
That's right.
So
Yeah, exactly.
I think it works.
Yeah.
I think it works.
Yeah.
And we're going to list all of that in the show notes as well. So wherever anybody's listening, people can be sure to find that information easy. But Chris, thank you for joining us and helping remind people that, no matter what, they don't have to choose between where they've grown up and who they are, whether it's the country or the city, or they love the outdoors, wherever it is that we're stronger together and we all belong together.
Exactly. Amen.
Awesome. Be sure to follow Chris Housman, stream his music, and support artists creating spaces where everyone can feel seen. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, please give us a rating and review. It really helps our podcast. Whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening. And until next time, get out there. Thanks for listening to the LGBTQ Outdoors podcast. Catch past episodes on your favorite streaming platforms and connect with us on Instagram or Facebook by searching LGBTQ Outdoors. Support our mission by joining the Trailblazers Society at lgbtqoutdoors.com/trailblazers. To learn more about our local chapters, LGBTQ Outdoor Fest, adventure trips, or to sign up for our newsletter, visit lgbtqoutdoors.com. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to follow, rate, and review. It helps keep our mission going.